Hey everyone, Chloe here, co-founder of Mom and Pop, and welcome to episode 8 of Small Business Conversations. This is where we sit down with various small business owners and just sort of talk shop about their small business, how they came to be, what they do, how COVID has potentially impacted their goods and services. So I'm super excited to welcome our guests today because I am mildly obsessed with all your guys' work. We have Brandon and Taylor Sims. They are a husband and wife team based in Richmond, and they are a renovation and design company. So welcome to Brandon and Taylor.
Hi.
Hey.
Thanks for having us.
Of course. Thank you for being here. Okay, so off the bat, why don't you guys just tell us a little bit about Love Sims Home, how it came to be, and what you guys do?
Awesome. Okay. So like you said, this is Brandon. I'm Taylor. So our whole company of renovation and design, Brandon is the general contractor and oversees all the projects and the build and everything like that. And I'm the lead designer. And how we came to be, really, we started in 2016 doing a passion project. We bought a condo and decided to renovate the entire space, basically. And we did that together, and we ended up selling it and flipping it, sort of. And we were like, wow, this is so exciting. We
I
loved
think it took us 1 month, 6 weeks.
Yeah, about 6 weeks
Oh,
to do
wow.
the project. Yeah.
That's fast.
So yeah,
Mhm.
and it was really like our first time working, together and just us doing the work.
Yeah.
And that really like lit the spark. We both had full-time jobs at the time,
Okay.
separately, but that really got us that spark into
Doing our
own thing and working together.
Yeah.
Nice. Okay.
Yeah.
What were you guys doing beforehand?
So
I was a contractor
Okay.
for just another outfit for another company, and
yeah, and I worked at actually a local organization. I looked at the Richmond Olympic Oval for a long time, and was in kind of the corporate side, so management position.
Nice. Okay.
So him was in the field, me not really in the field at all.
No, but so did you always kind of have just a passion and eye for interior design?
I grew into that.
Yeah, I would say for sure. Like I always loved doing it, and we did a lot of stuff to our own home as well. And when we bought the condo, having that ability to like have free reign on the design and the layout and the planning really was just like, okay, I really love doing this, and I love working. We actually love working together,
Oh,
which
good. That was going to be one of my questions too. Yeah.
People can't believe that, but yeah, so it really built that flame for sure.
No, that's awesome. I mean, I get the working with the spouse because that's what I've done for a long time, and it's not necessarily for everybody, but if it works, it's awesome. I think it's kind of nice if you kind of both have your separate parts and roles in the business, so it kind of can make things.
Yeah. And we come together at nighttime.
We come together at nighttime and debrief.
Yeah. No, that's awesome. That's good.
Yeah.
Then it was a couple years. We kind of just did side jobs.
Yeah.
Okay.
As a bit of a passion project and our hobby or an outlet for us. And we did a few friends jobs, and friends of friends started saying like, oh, would you guys do our place? And we're like,
yeah, we got
sure.
traction.
Yeah.
Got a bit of traction, and that took us basically to September 2019, where we said, like, we met actually with a small business advisor. She's like, guys, this can't be your side thing anymore. Like, you need to think about it. So
that's awesome. That's amazing. So
Yeah.
just kind of sort of snowballed into like a full-on business.
Yeah.
Totally. That word of mouth and the support from friends
and we took a slower process to get there, right? We made sure everything was ready to go.
Well, that's smart, I would say. And also I think, working with or doing projects with your friends, they're going to give like the best marketing for you. They're going to refer, and you can always trust their sort of referral to.
Totally. And they're like going to give the honest, I think, because they're our friends, but like they're going to say, yes, we do refer them. So that was, it was really great, and a big learning curve for us, kind of just doing those little side things, thinking, could we do this full time?
Right. And so you guys were still working full time at the time of your sort of building this up. Nice. And then you took the plunge in 2019, of September 2019?
September 1st. Yeah. September 1st, 2019. We
were fully gone.
Fully going. We had both quit our jobs full time. And over that summer, we both said, like, are we doing this? Like, we have a small small little guy who's our little baby, and we
Yeah.
have each other, and I'm like, are we gonna do it? And we just went for it.
Yeah, no, that's good. I mean, and the fact that it was a passion, just feeding that fully, it makes such a difference, I think, too, doing something that you fully love. And just at some point, you kind of just got to take the plunge and go for it and just
Yeah, she more like pushed me over that, but it was good.
I was like,
more
come on,
comfortable.
he's the like calm, cool, collected, and like, you know, like, okay, let's play this out, plan this out.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I think let's just do it.
Yeah, let's just see what happens. It sounds very similar to mine and Isaac's relationship.
Totally.
So September 2019, you have that whole pretty much the year, and then COVID hits in whatever, February, March, and how you had already done a few projects that year.
Yeah,
Yes.
we were in the middle.
Yeah.
We were 2/3, 3/4 in the middle of when it came down.
Yeah.
Right.
But
Like we had basically like our full year had been scheduled. We were already so
Wow.
excited. Yeah, being like brand new, but we had basically booked almost the full year. And yeah, we were in the middle of like one of our biggest of the year, and right in the middle is when everything kind of stopped.
Okay.
So of course, as you can imagine, it was.
well, we had the benefits because they weren't home.
Okay. They
we
weren't
had-
living on site at the time.
Yeah.
They were downstairs in a separate suite.
Okay.
So it was okay. We got to finish that one.
Yeah. But you know, like midway through for everyone, it
got
was
scary,
it
yeah.
did. It was like nerve-wracking for us, saying like, what does that mean for
Mhm.
us? Like, do we, you know, we've got all these projects lined up just so if we're having to postpone, which we did, we had to push it.
Yeah.
And then we took
Yeah.
like 6 weeks.
Yeah, like
2
during
months
that really
after.
lockdown. Yeah.
Yeah.
To
Yeah.
just kind of shut down, and then, you know, still being in contact with them. And I think for me personally, and I know talking with you, Brian, but during that COVID closure, I was really kind of proud how we like were able to safely finish that renovation.
Mhm.
You know, the couch took like 600 extra days to get to us, but like they were amazing to work with as well. And I think making sure that everything felt safe to do it and doing it well, like I was like, oh my God, that felt good to finish.
Yes.
For sure. And I guess too, I mean, there's a general understanding, I would hope or assume, between you guys and your clients. You're navigating new waters, new territory. They want to stay safe. You want to stay safe. So I imagine there's some understanding there on that part too, that things might take a little bit longer now
Yes.
due to these sort of unforeseen circumstances.
Yes.
Yes.
Everybody, you know, and I will say, like, we're so fortunate with everyone that we work with. They are so wonderful, and they're all understanding of the situation we're in now. And now that we're like, you know, we have like our COVID plan and everything in place now that we've done that, but knowing that things are taking longer, building materials are taking longer to come in sometimes. So
you just factor that into your sort of projection of how long the project is going to take now.
Yeah,
Exactly.
and we give notice. We let them know, like, you know, we
Mhm.
try to stay ahead of the jobs now.
Sure.
Give them time to like, let's pre-order, let's start planning now.
Yeah.
So when we start the job, hopefully things are starting to come in on us.
Yeah.
But yeah, we still get delays.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's, I mean, I think COVID or no COVID, that's just the way I'm
That's just
assume the home renovation business is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
100%. Yeah. Like with COVID too, like, you know, that whole side of it, like, you know, having that downtime for us, what we've actually also noticed with us is that like people are hungry to renovate and hungry to change.
I
And
guess
we're
just being in their
very-
home and seeing things like, ugh, I'm not really digging this anymore. Or
Yeah.
We're getting a lot of like,
we're
busy.
Very,
We're
very
so
busy.
thankful because we're
which is
so
amazing.
amazing. We're so lucky and we feel so happy and fortunate. It's just interesting because it's like even us, like we were sitting in our space for, you know, those 6 or 8 weeks that we were in that lockdown, and we're like, I'm like, I hate this. I hate this kitchen. We got to just paint something.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. No.
I totally understand that.
No. And you guys too have your
our trailers.
your trailers that you guys have been renovating too and stuff, which is, those are amazing. I'm excited to see the Airstream all come together.
We're working on it.
We're working on it. Yeah.
So what does the process look like now, I guess, with COVID or even before COVID? How does the process sort of look when you take on a project and sort of start to finish? What does it look like?
You want me to jump on?
Yeah,
that?
go for it.
You know, our biggest thing is our website, we've been, working on that, and we actually have a landing page for contact information, and there's a survey. So we always, ask people, reach out to us that way. It's the easiest. There's a little questionnaire that you would fill out, giving us a bit more information about your hopes for the project.
Right.
And that comes into us. And then we usually set up either a Zoom chat.
Yeah.
So that's one thing that's changed a lot for us, is the virtual meeting. And usually we set that up and go over that, or if they're comfortable, and we go in with our masks and everything, and do a walkthrough and basically take the information to provide a quote for them for the project.
Right.
Yeah.
And then go from there.
And then we go from there. Yeah.
Nice. And you do offer, so, sometimes the projects are big, like a full on renovation. And then I was reading, sometimes it's just sort of a refresh of people's place, or just giving someone an e-design to sort of work off of, and they can choose to do what they will with that, whether they hire you guys or not. Is that something that you guys do too?
Totally.
Yes, definitely.
Yeah. And that was something like I noticed actually was quite popular over COVID, obviously, during the lockdown. Was we did one main project, and it started as an e-design package, so full e-design. And then when the lockdown settled, they actually contacted us, and we went in and did, more to the space, and actually completed.
Yeah, that's awesome. I mean, that's kind of building sort of a warm lead, right? You just kind of, giving them some ideas, and in the hopes that maybe they will bring you guys on to sort of see their vision come to life.
Exactly.
Yeah, exactly. And that's been a lot of fun too. Like we obviously love doing the big major renovations. Like we really love that, but those, smaller projects and the e-design things, like those are great. And we have a lot of fun with them, and it allows us to work with, more people than we would if we were doing all big major renovations.
Yeah, definitely. And just allowing people to see what the potential of their little space could become.
Totally.
Exactly.
Yes.
And so, Taylor, because you didn't come from this world of design, so have you just kind of self-taught with like the e-design? I mean, I don't know what the technology is to sort of build out a vision for someone's space and build out a vision board or mood board or whatever it is.
Totally. Yeah. I mean, Brandon has like the knowledge and the education around his contracting and building, but mine was, a lot of it was self-taught. I have taken a few like online courses to get, information on certain, certain software to use and that type of thing. But a lot of it has been that passion to teach myself all of that, and what works best for our clients in terms of layout and planning, and some of the feedback I've gotten on, room layouts and things like that. So kind of taking all those things and then kind of making it my own, because that's the one thing I've noticed a lot with designers as well, and contractors, the way they present their material. Everyone's got their own little way of doing it.
Sure. Yeah. No, that's amazing. I mean, and you obviously just naturally have an eye for certain things too, so it just kind of comes naturally.
Yeah, she likes to shop.
Well, what woman doesn't really?
Shop, but also shop smart. I like to shop smart.
Yes.
So,
that's a good thing.
Yeah, like finding dupes for things that, might be out of reach in terms of for people, but how can we get that look for a little bit less?
Right.
And usually I feel pretty good that it turns out looking to that huge, like, ideal vision board that they produce. So it's pretty cool.
So that was going to be a question of mine too, because I've just always wondered this, because I love interior design and watching various shows and stuff. When you complete a project and you sort of stage it, is this stuff that you own and you bring in and they have option to purchase afterwards, or is it built into the budget? Like, how does that all work? Because obviously they have their own furniture and everything in the space prior to.
I guess it is job dependent. Some clients will give a budget for Taylor to do design, and then she will fill. And then some do not, but then Taylor will still stage it and give them the opportunity to purchase that.
Okay.
Most of the time they end up doing anyways.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
And I feel for us, like, that is one thing that kind of sets us apart, is that just because we are a contractor designer, so a design build team, you get the best of both worlds. So like at that end stage, like Brandon said, a lot of that stuff is my own that I've collected, and I set it all up, and we work with a really great local photographer, Melissa
Yep.
Scoped, that you might
Yep.
know as well. Yeah, she's
Yep.
amazing. So she comes in, shoots everything for us, and then I give, like Brian said, the opportunity for them to purchase what they want. And
Right.
and a lot of the time people end up
I
like,
would. I'd be like, I don't want to see this stuff go in my sad space after all this
yeah.
beautiful things in here. I don't want my stinky old couch back in this space. So do you guys have like a storage space then where you keep all your goods?
Yeah, she's got like a mini home sense out there.
Perfect. That's one of my favorite places.
Mine too. Yeah, it's really become like a little, but it's one of those things where like you just never know what's gonna come up and what you need. And yeah, so we're fortunate to have a little mini
Not
home
little. We got like three storage sheds out there.
Yeah. His bane of his existence, the neat and tidy one. And I'm like, oh, don't go in there. That's fine.
No. So Brandon, do you do all of the work when it comes to the construction side of things, or do you bring in some trades people?
Yeah. I have a couple guys that I have work with us, and then yes, we do bring in subcontractors for specialty work.
Right.
But yes, I do a lot of the work myself.
Yeah.
And depending on the job and the big of the job, the scale of the job.
Yeah.
Yes, we do have lots of contacts and sources to help out.
Yeah. And like anything with, electrical, plumbing, those are where we have our specialty, like
certified insurance.
Sure, guys, for sure.
Yeah, electricians and plumbers.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
No, that makes perfect sense.
But we've like our team, I feel like right now especially, it's like we've created like a really nice group.
Circle of workers.
Yeah, that we trust well. So yeah.
I mean, you want to have that might I imagine maybe that takes a little bit of time to see who you work well with and who's going to stick on time and all that sort of stuff.
Always difficult.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I guess with your background too, you might have had some contacts through your
previous. I've been doing this since I was 17, so I've built some good contacts over the time. But
and he's a stickler for time.
That's good.
I feel like that is one thing too that we're really like on the ball when it comes to deadlines, because we know how important it is for people to they're out of their homes, and coming home is so important. So he's
and I mean, you guys can speak from experience with having a kid. So being sort of upheaval with, families that have kids, it's like you got to get them back into their space as seamless and as quickly as possible, because it can be a bit of a upheaval.
And even more so now with COVID, like it's one of our policies that unfortunately we just can't have you in the house, just to make it safe, right? We want to make it as safe as possible. So getting them home as soon as possible is big for us.
Yeah. So typically, I mean, they just find somewhere else to stay. Family or hotel or separate, whatever. That you won't have any of them on site while you
feel that's just safe for all parties.
For
we're coming and going, and with our circle, and then we don't want to just mix and
it's worked out well, and I feel like that's kind of the norm for everybody right now. So everybody's kind of on the same page with it, which is great.
Yeah, no, definitely. Yeah. So speaking of you guys having a little one, how do you sort of juggle it all? Because it is owning a small business, you really are never off the clock. So how do you guys kind of manage to juggle it all? And do you sort of have set boundaries of when you're working and when the kiddo's at home, you're kind of shut off the clock? I can't say I'm very good at that. I'm constantly saying, okay, we got to put our phones down or whatever. But yeah.
Well, you go. This is one thing.
I don't think we have enough boundaries on the time, because
right now,
we're so busy. We're just always trying to work. But once we do get home, we try to really put our phones down for dinner and really get him settled and into bed, and then we kind of get back into it. It's hard because sometimes things arise, and we just gotta go with we just have to double team right now.
And I think that's one thing too, I think I knew how much, because we were doing it, how much work goes in. But I think once you become that full-fledged business, sometimes I don't know if you realize how much time and how many hats you're wearing.
Right.
I was like, oh, so the accounting, the marketing, like all of those things. And then you're like mom and dad still, and your husband and wife, which I think for us, we are still, we've talked about that this year, that we really want to have that time where we're husband and wife, and we're not our business.
Brandon and Taylor design and construction team all the time, and talking projects and everything like that all the time.
Yeah. So that is something we're definitely working on.
Yeah. No, I mean, I think it's a work in progress, right?
Yeah. And I think Leo, he kind of just goes with it with us. He likes it. Like if we're out in the trailer working on it, he likes to get in there and try to use the tools with us. And
yeah, for sure. And I mean, sort of segueing then, sort of seeing, he's 3, right? So if he's got some time, but seeing the future of your business, is that something that you would love for him to one day sort of get involved in?
Oh yes, yeah, definitely. Growing up, him doing that. Hopefully he's
right. He's the architect.
Hopefully he's the architect
yeah.
to the next level.
But you know, of course, I think for us that we were talking like being able to potentially pass something down to him that we're hoping we can continue to build and continue success, so that, you know, if that is something he wants to do one day, then, you know,
if he wants to,
it'd be amazing. Work with dad on site. That would be amazing.
Yeah. And as you say, become the architect, you could save a little bit of money on blueprints and things like that.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Or I can retire.
Our dad can retire.
Well, that too. You can just be sort of project manager and oversee everything, making sure everything's being done properly.
Exactly. Yeah.
So where do you guys sort of see the future of your business going? Have you thought about that much? I don't know, say, you know, in 5 years from now, hopefully, you know, COVID's over.
Yeah.
And where do you kind of see things going?
I think 5 years we would like to be building our own homes.
Yeah.
And
Okay. Amazing.
Yeah. You know, that's always been like a goal of ours, is to potentially start building our own homes. And you know, the one other thing about us that's a bit different sometimes is that we really are a small business. We do one project at a time. So, you know, we're not doing multiple things. And I think, you know, maybe in 5 years too, that's changing for us, and maybe we've built out a team that we really trust and have brought on these people that we could do like those multiple jobs at one time. So I feel like, you know, again, we're just taking those baby steps, enjoying what we're doing now, because what we've really found is that we still like having a bit of time to you know, be with Leo and take, you know, go on a vacation and do these things. At this state right now, we're feeling pretty balanced.
No, that's awesome. And I mean, that sounds amazing. If you get to the point where you can build out a team and you then are still able to have that flexibility to have your family time and oversee projects or have your assistants, and building your own homes, that would be
an assistant would be wonderful. An assistant who's not well, actually I shouldn't say that, because my mom is like my assistant, so I hope she's not watching this. But that's the fun part. But
no, that sounds amazing.
Go ahead.
What were you saying?
So the key is just for us not to rush and like expand. You know, lots of companies, they expand really fast and they take on too much work where it's very stressful. We just want to make sure we're doing good work and quality work. And
absolutely. Very cool. Okay, so some questions maybe for the audience that are just like interested in renovation and stuff like that. What would you say are like the top 3 things to consider when it comes to a home renovation?
Yeah, I think, I mean, for number 1 for me, I always like to, I don't want to like start with it, but budget is a big thing too, and being realistic
where you're comfortable with your budget at a realistic.
And I think too with us, that's one thing where we love going over these things with our clients and saying, realistically, this is what you can kind of get within that budget, and how, you know, here are some things that we can do to get you what you want, but this is what it might look like, the path. So I would definitely say budget. I also, what do you think, like time, like the time it kind of takes to start to finish that renovation?
Yeah, because, you know, it takes times to plan, prep, and then do. And I think people, they get excited and they want it done. You know,
right away.
Tomorrow.
Yeah. They want those instant results, and
and so I think, you know, that time frame and being realistic with your time, and then the time that's available.
And then vision, right?
Yeah. And I think, like having that vision of what you want, but not being set on that vision and stuck in that vision.
Okay. That makes sense.
Yeah. Because I think too with us is that, you know, we're here to work with you. And again, like with Brandon and I, sometimes when you're just working with a contractor, it can be just, you know, your vision to that contractor. But if, you know, with us too, we can help guide you through the design process and finishes and
No,
Yeah,
for sure.
streamline choices a little bit.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. And I mean, having a vision, and in some cases, I guess, and Brandon, you could speak to this. Sometimes something is just not possible because whatever plumbing is here or whatever is there. We
Exactly.
can't make that happen due to the way this house was made in the first place.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. Lots of, people have big dreams, and
Mhm.
sometimes Taylor would help them like dreams, but sometimes practical, it just
Yeah.
won't work
Yeah.
unless, you're throwing lots and lots of money, which
Yeah.
is not the smart way to go about it.
No, no, for
Yeah.
sure.
So that's why it's good, like the three-way with the clients, Taylor and me, we all bounce ideas and
Yeah.
come to something
Yeah.
everyone will love.
No, that's good because you've got you as sort of the structural side of things that it's like, okay, that's great, Taylor, that you want to turn this space into that, but that's not actually going to be possible.
How
But
are
at
you
the
in
same
my head? Yeah.
yeah,
You're
but I
right
think
there
at the
with us
same
right
time, you can see a space differently than maybe Brandon would see something and what the potential of the aesthetic of a space could be.
Totally.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. Exactly.
Okay, so and then what would you say? Maybe it might be hard to say your number one, but what would you say is sort of the number one question that you get asked, either by clients or just people that are interested in renovations? What would you say is always like the question that always tends to come up when it comes to someone potentially wanting to renovate their space?
I think I'm trying to think what the one be. I feel like a lot of the time it comes down to I hate being like, but the budget again, like kind of
Yeah.
saying, is is this realistic for
Right.
this amount?
Yeah.
And I feel like for us too, like and
We are very flexible. We work
yeah.
with people's budgets very
Sure.
well.
And I will say too, like that is like Brandon said, like, we've worked with smaller budgets, we've worked with really large budgets.
Yeah.
And at the end of the day, I feel like we usually come to a space where people are like, wow, like I didn't think I could do that
Yeah.
for that. And
No.
sometimes like it's just looking at your finishes a little
Right.
differently, or like Brandon said, like, that wall can't come down, but how can we open it a little bit more, or how can we
Hmm.
make it work so that it is a difference and more flexible and
Yeah.
all those types of things. So yeah.
So biggest like tips and advice you would give to someone, and this might come back to budget again.
Mm.
Biggest tips or advice you would give to someone that is looking to start a renovation?
I feel like for me, the first thing is do your research.
Yeah.
So, don't be scared to reach out to the company and say to them, hey, like, what are you guys all about? And go onto their website, check out their information. I personally feel like having a strong portfolio of your work is so important. So going onto those sites and seeing that. And then my other thing I've talked about, Brian, because we get a ton of referral and we're so thankful for referrals. Talk to those people who have maybe worked with
Other
contractors
contractors.
and reach out to those referrals and say, hey, listen, I know you like worked with this company. How did you find their time management, budget maintenance, and all of those
Yeah,
things?
it's doing a background
Yeah.
on the company, the construction company is
Mhm.
key, because there are some bad companies that are just they're not as good. They're a little
Might cut corners and
cut corners or broken
yeah.
promises on time frame, or
Yeah.
they say a quote and then you end up getting a bill where it's triple the price after.
Right.
Communication, I think, is what I was
Yeah.
thinking.
Yeah, and sort of transparency.
Yes,
Yeah.
and that's what we really try, is to communicate
Yeah.
through the whole
Yeah.
process from the start to the end,
Yeah.
as we're going through it.
Because like we say, renovation, it's a huge decision. And, we do work with a lot of families, which we love because we're a young family. And, finding people who are in their homes and they've got all the kids stuff, but they want to make it look good, but still feel like a home. So that constant communication for us is so important. And just knowing who you're working with is key, I think.
Yeah, no, absolutely. That makes perfect sense. And sort of just small business in general, what would you sort of, if someone's looking to start a small business, has been sitting on idea for a while and just is humming and hawing about it, what would sort of be your advice to someone just starting a small business or looking to start a small business?
Let's do it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like you go.
Yeah. No, I'm with you. Thanks for saying that now. Just do it. I mean, could we have said that maybe even like 2-3 years ago? I think, yeah. I mean, it has to be you know, obviously you love doing that because that's like your side hustle and
it's got to be your passion.
Right.
Yeah. A friend of ours said, I've never seen you guys work so hard. And I said, you know, she's like, but I've never seen you guys so happy. And like, I really feel like we were saying this, like in the last few years, this is just like, we've got Leo and we feel like we've got a really good routine with him in terms of like our time that we get to spend with him.
Yeah.
Because we run our own business.
Yeah.
We really love it. So I think if it's what you want, I say,
go for it.
Yeah. And I think there's a saying, I think it's Gary Vaynerchuk. It's like, if you live for the weekends, your shit is broken. So it's like finding something that you like love, where you're not just waiting to clock out at 5 o'clock on Friday night so you can get to your weekend is important. And just, I mean, there's always going to be the fear of failure, but I think the fear of not having done it and seeing where it could go is worse.
It's worse.
And we, you know, and we were in that and doing jobs that, you know, were fine, but we both were like scared to take that leap. And then finally we just said, you know what, let's just see where it goes. And if we have to revamp in a year, then let's revamp in a year.
Yeah. I mean, having a backup plan, you were still a contractor, and, you know, having a backup plan is great, but you got to, at some point, I guess you just got to pull the trigger and go.
Yeah.
You just got to go. Yeah.
You can try to prepare, but you know, it's like having a kid. You just don't know
until you're in it.
That's for sure. Everyone can try and warn you or tell you, but you don't know until you're
the small business becomes the baby too. So you've got the two. I really do feel we've got the two babies.
Yeah,
so.
absolutely. No, big time. Okay, just before we wrap this up, what would you say sort of, would it be referrals? What's your sort of number one marketing tool that's worked the best for you guys?
I think referrals is number one. Taylor's doing a really good job on Instagram too, but referrals is kind of been our bread and butter, just doing good work and making people happy. Word of mouth goes a long way.
It really does.
And so for everybody, for our audience, where can they find you and where can they see your work and all of that?
Yeah, well, check our Instagram, please. It's been doing some work over there, and it's been a lot of fun to showcase our work and, you know, the behind the scenes on what it actually looks like, because sometimes you forget that there is that messy part in the middle of the renovation. So we like to show that as well. So we're on Instagram as Love Sims Home, and we have our website at lovesimshome.com.
Perfect.
And everything you need to know is there. So yeah.
Amazing. Well, thank you guys so much for sitting down with me today and having this chat and everything. And we look forward to seeing more of your projects come together. So thank you so much, you guys, and take care.
Okay, thanks.